Rican and the activities and with the people, the staff, the place. Might as well start. Might as well start. For those who don't know me, my name is Wilson Chembo Corniel. They know me as Chembo Corniel, and I've been playing tumbadora, la congas, about over 50 years. Um, I represent part of groups that represent the Latin jazz series at the Neo Rican Poets Cafe. I started playing at the Neo Rican Cafe 25 years ago. In 1995, I started with Chris Washburn's group, Sayotos. Then I got to play there with Ray Vega's band also. Also did a couple of things with Bobby Sanabria's band. And then in 2004, I started my group. Is everybody there yet? Everybody went off?
They're still here. They're still here.
Okay, I got to put on gallery. Everybody left or something. Let me see. Here we go again. I'm sorry. I've been playing Latin jazz at the Neo Rican, the Latin Jazz series for about 25 years, and I represent one of the bands, Chemo Corniel Quintet, that we play Latin jazz. We also have Victor Rendon's Bronx Conexión, and also Willie Martinez y La Familia. Ever since within those 25 years, we had other groups perform there and been part of the series, like Zakai Curtis and the Curtis brothers that were there for a while, Hector Martignon, and a couple other, Bobby Sanabria's group, like I mentioned, Sayotos and Ray Vega. I'm there 16 years with my group, with Chavoro, and just want to say that we want to continue Latin Jazz Tuesdays there. We love it there, and that's a place where I got to form and rehearse and explore new musics with my group. So they gave me the space and the freedom to do that. Latin jazz is a marriage of jazz harmonies with Afro-Caribbean rhythms. So this is this marriage that we're getting together. We live here in New York. We have a New York style. There's a New York style of Latin jazz. There's a Latin jazz bands in California. There's Latin jazz band in Puerto Rico. But each one has a different accent. You know, like if you hear Latin jazz from California, it's more laid back. The Poncho Sanchez and that kind of Pete Escovedo, they have their own style, their own accent. Puerto Rico, they have more of a salsa jazz. You know, it's more salseado. You know, it's more of a Latin flavor. And also, what makes the difference with this here is the combination of the bands, of the musicians that you have in your group. If you have a Latin jazz group, if you have a quintet like myself, I have a drummer that plays like the timbales and cowbells and all the other minor percussion stuff with him. Conguero, myself, bass, piano, and I have a tenor player that plays flute, soprano, and tenor. You know, so in Puerto Rico, you might have a salsa setting. You might have a timbalero, bongocero, conguero, which is a salsa setting, but they play instrumental salsa. You know, which is they call it the Latin jazz. There are some other groups that has a traditional jazz setting. You know, so I consider my group as a jazz band, but with a conga player. I look at it that way. I call it jazz Latin instead of Latin jazz. So I want to play some authentic straight ahead stuff, pero con maña, you know, with masacote under all that stuff brewing. So when I lay out and you close your eyes, you're gonna hear an authentic straight ahead jazz band. And when I come in, you know, and one of the models that I I formed and followed by is Fort Apache. Jerry Gonzalez's band with Andy, and those guys really laid down the style for the New York salsa, New York Latin jazz uh, um, sound. So this is, I'm just separating a little bit of the stuff that we do here, the style of music that I play here. I play the tumbadora. This is a conga. I just have two now. Sometimes I play three or four, whatever. But we're gonna try to touch base with everybody here because we have different levels. When you have something like this, there's a lot of beginners. There's people who know how to get a sound out of a drum. There's already players that are playing with bands locally or professionally. So I just want to touch a little bit from the beginning how to get a sound out. I'm going to play a couple of rhythms. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. That way you can see what I do, and when we go play at the New Rican, besides with the band. But this is my instrument, and this is what we're going to talk about today. This will also um, connect with whatever instrument you play. I know there's a lot of sax players there, bass players, all that stuff, but this is the basis of all that stuff. This is the counterpoint of what you're playing there. This is the bottom part that is there. This is, like we say, is the lighthouse in the fog. You look at the conga player or the clave. The clave is the lighthouse in the fog. When everybody's lost or whatever, you don't know where you're at. You follow that clave, right? You go. I'm going there. I know I'm going to get home. So this is, and I'm playing. My phrasing is with the clave. So therefore, for instance, I'm going to play a tumbao with a clave. So if you were here, right, ah, ah, so I'm accenting on the third beat of the first bar of a 3-2 clave. Pa, 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 on the fourth beat, okay? Pa, 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 pa. So I don't have to sing the clave because you know where the clave is because I'm giving it to you. Clap it. So this here is one of the basic things to look for anyone else who's not playing this instrument, but is playing an instrument and they want to know where's the clave at. So if you hear this accent on this side, is on the third side, it's on the three side, the fourth beat. So that's anchoring you there. So that's what you follow more or less. This is just an idea so you can see and have, and that'll help you because sometimes people can play a little frantic and they're all over the place and you're trying to groove and you got some people that overplay and some who don't, but somebody's got to be there holding that rhythm. Somebody's got to be there holding the clave and holding the time. So that's our job. Okay. Now for the people who are kind of beginners, I just want to run through the sounds, the four basic sounds of one conga here. I could get out of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sounds out of this one conga here, but the basic one are 4. So I'm going to explain to you here now. I'm going to demonstrate the open tone, which is you're kind of hitting the drum here with this part of your hand, right? And what you're doing is you're hitting the skin and you're letting it vibrate. So it's kind of closed. It's not open like this. It's just a normal close. Don't force it closed. And what you're doing, your wrist is like a hinge. So you're doing this. You're not doing this. So you have to save your stamina and energy. So we play this way. If you see a lot of people playing this way, they're sweating and they get tired. And before the end is over, they have to take a solo, and then they got to hold time for the drummer to take a solo. So that wipes you out. So I suggest what we do here, your hand is like a hinge. So see? And I'm bouncing it back. And to get the true sound out of the drum. I'm not leaving it here like that, you know. So you got to bounce it back so it could kick back the sound, okay? And also, you strike the drum with the weight of your hands. You're not hitting it hard like this. Your hand, you drop it, the weight of your hand. This is the weight of my hand. I'm not forcing it. I should be loud enough. Now, if I want to push it, you see, so you gotta start at a ground zero. And sometimes if the band is too soft, is playing soft, that's where I'm gonna stay at. If I gotta bring it up a notch or two, a couple of dBs, and then I start bringing it up. But you know, if it's a conjunto or trio, I'm playing. That should be loud enough. And especially if you have microphones, you tell the engineer, "Hey, bring it up. I can't hear you. You know, if you can't hear me, don't knock yourself out." So this is how we conserve energy as you play along a tune. You know, so right now you're playing with the weight of your hand and right and left hand. Notice it's just the hinge. Remember the hinge? The second note that I'm going to play is the slap, which is the hardest. This is like a whip. It's like a whiplash here, and you're hitting your fingertips. So it's going this way. So you're kind of pushing kind of this way, and the only thing that's landing are your fingertips. Now here's the tone, and here's the slap. Now you relax your hands, and it's kind of like a whip, and it's gonna bounce back. That's the hardest. It's gonna take a lot of time to get that, especially if you're right-handed. You got to build up your left hand. So any exercise you do with your right, you do with your left. Now I'm gonna play those two notes, which is the open tone and the slap. Now with just those two notes, I can do this. And I use that as a solo, and it's just one iena. Just with those two notes, and then so you got already something out of it. Also, this is another one with just those two notes. This is a triplet. So that's tone, slap, slap, tone, slap, slap. So you see, with just those two, you're starting to build up. And then also substitutions. If I go, the first hit, I'll hit the tumbadora, the lower pitch drum. So there's a lot of different combinations you can use by just learning and attacking. So you got the open tone, the slap. The next one is a bass. You're putting your palm in the middle to get that thud. It's not a smack. You just hold it down there, right? You want to hear that. This is a bass and an open tone. So now we have Now, if I do 4 bass, you see, 2 bass and 2 open tones. These are the 3 hits. So I'm only doing 3 notes, right? The last note, the major note, is the muff tone. The muffled tone is like the open, but what you're doing is choking it. You're not letting the skin vibrate it. You're choking it. So what you're doing is putting pressure on the fingertips. Don't let it bounce like an open tone. Open. So what you're doing is choking the sound. You're not letting it vibrate. So it's not a hit like the open note. It's not this. What you're doing is just muting it, muting the note. So you have bass, mute. With those 4 notes, we do a tumbao. This is a tumbao, which is 90% of the music that we play in salsa and in jazz. It's this 4/4 pattern. Okay, so those notes, what I just showed you together, it's what you need, or the ingredients to play a tumbao. The basic. What's a tumbao? Tumbao is the basic pattern that we use, like I said, in mostly a lot of the music that we play now. That consists of, I'll break down a tumbao for you. Let's say for the beginners here, I know there's probably a lot of people who went through this already, but let me touch the beginners. I'm going to come up with some other stuff for the other guys who have been there and done that. All right. So let's say I'm right-handed. Okay. So anybody who's right-handed, you could raise your left hand. And the opposite, whoever's left-handed, they could raise their right hand. Okay. Because my right hand is the dominant hand. The left hand, let's call this the heel. And the tips over here, your toes, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. So it's everybody heel toe. Heel, when I say heel, what you're gonna do is drop it down straight. And then pick up your toes. Heel toe. So it's heel toe, heel toe. Right, like that, right. Remember the hinge. Remember the hinge. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. So now we're gonna add the slap in the right hand. Heel, toe, slap. Heel, toe, slap. Now we're gonna add the toe back again. Heel, toe, slap, toe. Okay, so all you're doing is this. So you don't have to pick up your hand and do this, you know. So if I go heel, toe, slap, I gotta just pick this up. Heel, toe, slap, toe. Okay? Heel, toe, slap, toe. Next step, heel, toe, slap, toe, heel. Heel, toe, slap, toe, heel. So you do when your toes are here, you're doing like a seesaw. Heel, toe, slap, toe, heel. Now these are all eighth notes. So this whole tumbao, it's one bar. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Now we're going to add the toe again. Heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe. Again, heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe. The next and the last two beats are the two open. So now we're gonna do heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe, toe. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you do your left hand by itself, is doing heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. That's the separate beat. Besides the, that's my right hand is doing this. And that's what you hear in the tumbao is this. But the syncopation from your left hand is what's keeping you in time. This here is your one, not this here. A lot of people start, or I start 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the whole bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. Do that. Say heel, toe to yourself. Heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. Now you're gonna do like a seesaw thing here, so don't go none of this stuff here, okay? So just relax your shoulders and just move your wrist here, okay? So drop your hand, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, toe, heel. When I was learning this with Tommy Lopez, we had he would say it like this. He would say, dura, madura, dura, madura, dura, madura, dindi, dura, pa, madura, dindi, dura, madura. A Tommy Lopez thing. Dura, madura, dura, madura, dura, madura, dura, madura, dura, pa, madura, dura, madura. Heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, dura, madura. Heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, dura, madura. 1 and basic tumbao. Okay, that's the key to a lot of stuff. Over here, I have a tumbadora. It's a lower pitched drum. Uh, so I would tune this lower than this one. This is the basic setup for salsa or any other genre. They usually have two. There's melodies that you can play if you tune them right. Usually, I would tune the low one to a G. The conga, we tune it to a middle C, and then on the piano, and then to the left, the G, which is what is it, fifth or something? Fourth, fifth, right? Now, what I would do is, for instance, I have this here. Let me just do a quick, let me see if you guys can hear this. It's kind of muggy here. It might be just a little flat. You hear that? Might be just a little flat because it's muggy here and it goes down, and I have these natural heads. Another thing with Tommy Lopez about tuning, he would tell me to tune it to "Here Comes the Bride." So this was his way without the notes, but that's old school, you know. This is back in the day. You were talking about 50s and 60s, you know. So sometimes when I do it quick, so when you hear it, you hear a nice chord, right? Now, the way I would utilize the tumbadora for basic 4/4, ba, 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 so now I'm feeling more with the tumbadora, and I can get melodies. You know, so this is where I got this tuning from Patato. He tunes 4 congas, and I got his whole chord and more like a C7 chord with a F G B flat C. Boom, 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 boom. So Patato would do something like, can you hear that? Do, 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 dee. So if I have a third drum, I would do the B flat. I would do. Do, do, dee. You dig it? But this is anyway. This is now tuning the drum. You know, it's like if you're a violin, if you play violin, if you play bass, you're not just gonna grab the bass and start playing. You gotta tune it. You gotta treat this like a piano. You gotta treat your instrument. This is a primitive instrument, but you also gotta treat it like a violin. You gotta sit down and tune it first. You can't just wail away and you know, and think primitive and start attacking it. You know, there's techniques of using this instrument and ways of utilizing it to the full potential without beating you up. This instrument can beat me up. If I don't know how to treat it, then it'll work for me. But if I abuse it and not knowing what to do, my hands will be bleeding and the sound is not going to sound right. Just with the tuning, it sounds pretty. I don't have to do nothing. So this is the beauty of that. Another thing, I played plena, I played bomba, I did a little guaguancó, ¿verdad? A thing about the guaguancó, I just want to point out for the more advanced players, um, when you play the guaguancó with the clave, I'm gonna put a clave. I don't know if you can hear it here. You hear that? Can you hear that, everybody? Yeah. This guaguancó here goes opposite the clave. So just to remind, because a lot of people in the old in the back in the '60s, everybody were playing the guaguancó with the clave. Boom, beep, beep, boom, boom, beep, beep. But that's that's wrong technique. What's happening there is the way it's really the guaguancó is supposed to be played is opposite the clave. So I go. Boom, beep, beep, boom. The reason for that is that each one has a space. If I'm playing opposite the clave, the quinto player, he's quinteando with the clave. So and not everybody's going and blah 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 together. So now he's going so the singer and the quinto player, he's filling on the side of the clave. So each one has to be separated, and these are some of the things a lot of young or some players don't understand or don't know yet. Uh, if you listen to Los Muñequitos de Matanza, Afro Cuba, Los Papines, and you hear all those rumba records, you're gonna hear on the opposite side. Okay, so if you want to confirm some of that stuff, you listen to some of that rumba, because each one has a space, each one has a section where to be placed at in order for the whole ensemble to sound correct, and each one has a space there. Anyway, so this is I'm just gonna play a little bit more of the guaguancó stuff here. There's a little hint there about that, about rumba. So you got to learn a lot about the folklorical stuff too in order to know this instrument. It's not only playing salsa. You got to know the basic rumba. That was guaguancó. One of three parts of rumba: guaguancó, jambu, and columbia. Eh, so that was here the guaguancó part. Uh, a yambu, it's like a guaguancó, but it's played slower, and it's played with cajon. You see the guy sit on a cajon and play, and one guy has a cajon and a quinto next to him. So these configurations are different in each rumba, So you got to know what to set up with what you're gonna play. So it's like I was I was being interviewed for college, for Hamilton College, and it's just like Latin music. It's not just Latin music. It's not just salsa. We have a salsa band. We have big band. We have a charanga. We got a conjunto. We got trio. We got Latin jazz. So what kind of a salsa you want? If I'm going to play, which I play with Puente, I'm going to fill in, but I'm not going to take his show. If I'm going to play with a charanga band, which I play with Broadway and Massenet también with America, all these guys. If I'm going to play charanga, it consists of a timbal and conga. just like it's a flute and violins. There's no trumpet, trombone, there's no brass. So the elements there you have to know. So I know how I'm going to play. I'm not going to play the same tumbao, Latin jazz, and I'm going to play with the big band conjunto clásico. I play with them. That's only bongo and conga. There's no timbal, so it's a different way of playing there too. You know, you don't play the same marcha. This is not. This is in general to start, but now when you start opening up, I play with my Latin jazz band. I'll take out four congas. I don't need four congas for a charanga band. You know, it doesn't go there. It's like two different elements. You know, so you got to know the right the right instrumentation. So I'm gonna know. I'm gonna play. I'm playing with Broadway tonight, so I'm gonna play one conga, and I'm gonna play just fincando with the bajo, and the timbalero is playing with his cha-cha bell. You know, if I'm gonna play conjunto, bongo y conga. I'm gonna play big salsa band with four trumpets, four trombones, vaya, two congas. You're gonna have a timbalero and a bongo player, so you got a full Latin percussion section. You know, Latin jazz, I just have a drummer and percussion. So, you know, so you got to think about those ways of how am I going to attack this way? You know, how am I going to play this here? Yeah, sometimes, a whole lot of times, more is less because it fits into that style, you know, and you have to adapt to play that style. If you play, for instance, if I would do a charanga, un danzón, I wouldn't even double the four. I just, so it kind of is a funk, you know. So you're locking in, you know. So it's like a ride, you know. So the different styles. If I'm gonna play Latin jazz, then it's a whole different tumbao. This is a tumbao for Latin jazz at a fast speed. I get more colors, you know, and you fill in more because it's just you and the drummer. So those are the things also when you learn, listen to La Perfecta, you know, for some conjunto stuff, you know, listen to Tito Puente for some big band stuff, listen to Irakere for some Latin jazz big band. You see how the guy playing five congas there. Jerry Gonzalez for the smaller conjunto of Latin jazz. Kind of a style, you know. You want to listen to Gilberto Santa Rosa for some salsa, and then you go into that. If you want to listen to some Aragon, you know, flute. So there's an attitude of playing that this instrument to that style, and without you doing anything, without you even putting your part in there, you're already in the tradition. You already sound good. Porque tú estás afinadito and you're playing the right stuff, you're right in there, you're not pushed, so you're already sounding good. Now, when it comes to your turn, then you can solo, but you don't have to be overplaying or doing anything like that or trying to bogart. And you got to lock in as an ensemble with the other percussionists and also with the bass. You know, the bass is what I listen to all the time, and everybody else is wraps around us. So if we have that bed together, the brass and everybody else, a singer, they could lay on top of that easily. You're not gonna rock, and then this guy's gonna riff, this guy's gonna riff, and this guy's making all that noise. So whose solo is it anyway? They do that a lot in the piano solo. When I hear a solo, they're blah blah. I say, what the hell is going on? You know, whose solo is the piano or the bongo player? You know, so so it's different ways, and I guess with time and experience, you know, you know when you're gonna learn that, you know, how you're gonna attack that situation. Jason, you want to open up for some maybe questions now or something like that? Maybe somebody's gonna want to say something.
Sure, sure. I'll start opening up.
Maybe somebody's got a little question of what I explained so far, because I know I have to go in a kind of in this kind of a speed, so everybody can trying to get a little taste of what I'm trying to do. Usually a master class like this, I do it personally, where I could see you playing the drums and I could correct you there personally, you know. And but this is a new thing now with this virus that's going around here, so this is the latest thing that we have to work with. And I'm just glad I had the opportunity to do this. At least if you get a little bit of something there, I appreciate very much, and I hope everything helps you. But anybody's got a question or anything?
You're
Raise
allowed
your
to unmute yourself. So just unmute your mic one by one, and you can ask your question, and please mute it after.
Ah,
So right, so right. It's like 90 degrees in here.
If you want, you just raise your hand, and I'll unmute you. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Hi, I'm Michael Viñas over here. You talked about congas and hands. What about, I know in merengue, a lot of people like to use a stick along with that to simulate the tambora. But are there any other rhythms that you can incorporate using a stick in one hand and the other hand on the tumbadora or the congas?
Well, like you mentioned, I think the only rhythm like that is the merengue, and also there's a rhythm in Cuba called arara. Arara is played on the congas with two sticks. Each one has a rhythm, and it's sticks on congas. So anything else after that, a stick would be used on a certain instrument that applies the stick. Not really congas, is really more of a hand drumming type of thing. You can improvise like when we do gigs. There's no tambora. We had to do the merengue. I don't have a stick with me now. I got a clave. I could try one of these sticks, which then that would do. Something like that.
All right, Chembo, you got a question from Eddie. Eddie, I'm gonna unmute you right now. Well, it seems like I can't unmute you, but the question was, what's the difference between a masacote and a tumbao?
Okay, well, the tumbao is the whole. That's a tumbao. The whole act of playing the pattern. El masacote is the technical part. Learning the masacote, which is basically both the same thing, but over here, then it technically says, show me the masacote to play the tumbao. You know, what's the masacote? What is the technique, more or less, you know? And some people also use that for mentioning a tumbao, you know, so it's there, you know, but I kind of separate a little bit because I think that the masacote is the learning of the hits, and the tumbao is the actual playing. Este es un tumbao, like this is a tumbao. Somebody say, oh, tócame masacote, you know, same thing, you know. But the masacote is like, or you say, teach me the masacote so I can learn how to play the tumbao. More or less. Next.
Anybody else? You can unmute yourself if you have a question.
Everybody's good? Everybody's good? Everybody's good? Everybody I wish that I hope everybody got a little something out of here. Like I said, hopefully we will be playing and going back hopefully in August, September, or whenever the New Yorker is ready to have us again to continue playing Latin jazz music. Everybody's invited to come down It's all free till you get to the door. So, uh, we'll have Latin jazz. I'm there the first Tuesday of the month at 9:30. Victor Rendon and the big 21-piece orchestra, Bronx Connexion. Some of the guys are there. I see everybody there from the meeting that we had there. Thanks for showing up. We're here the second week, and I also perform with them. And also Willie Martinez y La Familia again on the third week. Like I said, I've been there 25 years, and hopefully will be another 25 more. And they're going to be going to changes and hopefully fixing up the place within the next couple of years. And we want to keep this music alive, and please support live music, live Latin jazz, spoken word, which is over here. This is number one with La Bruja and all my peoples over here when they come and do their poetry and their discussions about what's going on here right now, like at these times, So there's a lot of movements, and the young people at the Neo Rican Poets Cafe, they're right out in front, with everybody else, forming their opinions and not even that, taking actions also. So I think that would be it. Anybody have any more questions? And we got one more question.
I have a question. Hola.
Hola.
First of all, thank you so much for this masterclass. I wanted to ask you, there was a rhythm that you played. I think it was the last rhythm you played for like a Latin jazz. It was a faster rhythm. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like the last rhythm that you played. And I was wondering if you could like quickly break it down.
Okay, that was a different tumbao that I use for Latin jazz, which is more an advanced tumbao. And what it really is like we're playing so fast that sometimes when there's a rhythm, for instance, when there's a rhythm or a tempo that is, you're not gonna do it that fast throughout the whole song. So what we do here is either at a certain level, at a certain line, when it's that fast, I change the rhythm. I just want to do it before the tumbao. So instead of me playing, I'll do it. Then I got to change the rhythm because this is no good no more. You don't have time to do the heel toe at that tempo. So when you have a certain time, when you go, the forehand is here. So this is. I would change into that. So faster is going to be. So it sounds like doing. So anyway, so when you get to play a certain speed, you got to change rhythms or to a wawanko or something like that, to fill in. This fast tumbao that you're talking about that I use for Latin jazz, I'm going to slow it down. And what it really is cutting a lot of the heel toe stuff over here. And I'm only accenting the and of 4. I'm not hitting the 4. So instead of doing it, I'm going. So you don't have to go. So now you're hitting the 4 and, which you're covering that section. So then once in a while, I will hit the 4th note on the 3 side. So it takes a while to get used to that because sometimes when these guys are playing fast, I had to change the mechanics of it to keep up. Either change the rhythm or I devised this kind of tumbao. So I would do the and of 4 and then 4. The 4 is the beat 4 on the 3 side of the clave, the end of 4 on the 2 side. Pa, 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 embellish it with other rhythms that I know, and I was sneaking here and there, but that basic and that slap is there. The 2. That's what they're hearing, the 2.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It takes a lot of time because that's you know, you got to develop that, and if you develop that, you could put on metronome and start medium, and then you get comfortable. But also you have to breathe as you go faster. You got to, you know, it's another thing that I developed also is like breathing with the instrument. Like for instance, let me just give you one more thing here. I do this thing that in order to conserve energy, I would breathe in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. See, so now I'm breathing with the tumbao, but try to get your own natural rhythm first of your breathing, and don't breathe like in and out all at one shot because you'll get dizzy. You know, so breathe naturally. In 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. So now you're one with the drum, and now you're not holding your breath. You're not swinging anywhere else. So now so try it first with your natural rhythm. You catch yourself how you're breathing in and out, and then match the tumbao with that. And first of all, lock with that. Now the question is, when it gets this fast, how do you breathe? So you cut time. In 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. So therefore, now you got to cut time. Now you're playing double time, but then that's going to keep you more relaxed because you're not all over the place and breathing. So now you in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. You see, so when it gets that fast, don't go. You'll be on the floor. Okay, so that's another little thing that you can try to, you know, work on if you like.
Thank you so much. Do you give private lessons?
Yes, I do. I have a studio here in Queens, and I'm on Facebook, and Jason knows my information. Because on Facebook, Chembo Corniel or Chembo Corniel Quintet on Facebook, and you can private message. I live in Queens. I have a studio downstairs. I have private message, but what I'm doing now, I'm doing it through Zoom like this, one-on-one. You know, so I have about 10, 15 students, and we meet like once a week and stuff like that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming down and hanging out with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jason, and thank you, New York Pose Cafe. Everybody in the house.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody.